Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 8 of Business Talks with Carl. And today we're going to talk about still, and this is 4 out of 4 of the special that we've actually created for the 2016 John Lee Hancock's film, The Founder. So, stick around and we're going to wrap things up. You may think to yourself that exploration happened 30 years ago. Too late ago. I was always been someone who's fascinated by stories. I've always loved stories. And so I was doing all of these comic books and I would write them, do them, draw them, color them, finish. Look within yourself from childhood. Meditate if you have to. If you can't remember what it is that you absolutely loved back then there's going to be a whole lot of thinking time for you to do. Okay, so from the get-go, Ray Kroc absolutely understand branding, and they absolutely cared about McDonald's. He didn't look at it as just a restaurant or a business. He looked at it as a brand, and he created things that will help sustain that brand. He actually created the Speedy mascot to be able to be akin to little kids, right? And they used it as a means to connecting communities and families together. And if you would watch the film, Ray Kroc had an epiphany, and this epiphany is that when you look around town, as he was driving all around town, he's just a salesman. He realized that in every town, there's flags and crosses. What's that? Flags and crosses. There will be a town hall, and there would be churches. So it's the flag of America and Christianity, God. And so he wanted to create an environment that is family friendly, community oriented, somewhere where people can be there and really have a good time, enjoying a meal together, piece of bread, what have you. And he saw this, and he wanted to create this community in a large scale, right? It was already happening in San Bernardino, California at that time, but he wanted, and he thought to himself that, you know what, this kind of idea, this kind of community, I want to magnify that, I want to amplify that into the whole country, right? At that time they were just thinking the whole country, and now McDonald's is the whole world, the whole globe knows about McDonald's. There's practically McDonald's everywhere right now. So that's absolutely amazing. So you have to define your brand, you have to define your vision, what it is that you want for your brand. And of course, when people get to hear this question, well, I wanted to be successful. Okay, give me a little bit of context on that. I want it to be this big. Okay, how big? The whole country or something like that? Okay, what are the things that we can do about that? No, they don't have any answer for that. And even me, if I try and say to you what the vision is for that brand, I don't know, because I don't know the brand. I don't know that brand. So, in defining your vision and defining your brand really starts from you. If you're just starting out, this is not I think this is for just who are starting to build their brand, whatever it is, your business, whatever it is that you're trying to do. What you have to do is look within yourself, look in the communities, look at what's happening around you, the external source. Ray Kroc saw it, right? There's a group of families eating together, burgers together, and they were absolutely happy. And this kind of community is this inclusive community. That's what he wanted to replicate in a large scale. So he saw that. He saw that it could be something that could be replicated. And at the same time, in defining your brand, you have to really know your brand. Because you could be the pioneers of your brand, but you can't see the full potential of your brand. Alright? Dick McDonald was hesitant, right? He was someone who would say agnostic about all the scheme of things. Matt McDonald's a little bit positive that they can become a good brand, but the thing here is this: they didn't see the worth of what McDonald's could be, and Ray Kroc came in and see, and I guess you could say that Ray Kroc has this good magic ball in terms of foreseeing the future, but Ray Kroc initially found it. But this is something that he can replicate from sea to shining sea, as he would call it. And I actually believed in the product. You have to believe in your brand, that it can exceed. And you should not underestimate your brand at all. But also you shouldn't over appreciate your brand as well. You have to be grounded by reality, but you have to build that brand from scratch. And Dick and Mac McDonald didn't saw it at all. They were skeptics, right? They were skeptics. But Ray Kroc came in and then convinced these guys that, you know what? That's what you're thinking, but here's what I think. Okay, you can be big, you can be great. And eventually it did become great. became one of the best and top fast food chains. After so many years, it's still on top. Ray Kroc came in. Problems. The number one adversity that he had is not making money. The investors and the franchisees that he had during at that time wasn't the best business partners to have, and they were absolutely bad at maintaining that. So what Ray Kroc brought to the table was a system to help sustain that. Rather than managing the people with all of his might, he decided to get the right people instead. And what that created is that less management, but more results, right? You don't have to manage it, because as a manager, I think the more that you have to manage the same problems over and over again, the less effective of a manager that you are. And there's this aphorism that good product sells itself, right? But it's actually true also that a good manager has a team that manages itself. And that's what Ray Kroc brought to the table, right? A system to be able to recruit the right people rather than trying to convince or convert the religion of the wrong people. He took a step back, he reassessed, reconfigured, and then redesigned everything, and then implemented it again. There are a lot of adversities in terms of the McDonald's and how it was created. But Ray Kroc knew what it is that he wants, and he's thinking of the long term, right? It might not seem big right now, but eventually you'll be surprised. It's big, right? It's like that seed that you decided to plant, and then all of a sudden it's huge. I remember, and I always see this tree around at our house, and I'm actually surprised that my grandma actually planted that as a seed, this mango tree, because I didn't know initially, and it was just there. It was just there, and it's huge. And how many years have passed since then? I wasn't even born when that was first planted, but I can see it now, right? We're harvesting the fruits of that tree, and it paid off. And it's absolutely amazing to be able to look at it. It's really tall. It's a huge mango tree, one of the biggest mango tree that I ever got to see. And it's absolutely amazing that it started from this size of my fist, no bigger than the size of my fist, and it becomes something that is good, something that's great. And it's absolutely amazing. And that's the promise of the dream. And again, it might seem corny, might seem superstitious, but you just have to believe in it, right? You have to invest in it in order for it to grow. In a world where telephone connections isn't that reliable, there isn't no internet, no Vimeo, no anything, no Zoom to be able to orient the whole company, having the franchise at that time is difficult, really difficult. In order to have a trickle-down approach in terms of the management or the orders that you want to implement all throughout the nation, it's going to be difficult, and there's going to be latency, and the speed of delivering that message is gonna take a whole lot of time, because a lot of people, they might hear the message but they're not there, right? They can be disoriented at times. You can be disoriented because you really don't know all of these things happening simultaneously, and you don't have a system to be able to write that down, to be able to really assess what's happening in a holistic sense. And so Ray Kroc, that's what he did. Recruit the right people, the less management that you are going to make. So that's absolutely crazy. And when you try and look at the tragic story of Dick and Mac McDonald, what they lack and what they've really failed as is not a businessman, but as someone who is a father to their company, to their baby, because they didn't see how big it is, and they thought that the secret sauce to their success is the speedy system. No, it's not the speedy system. It's not the tasty burgers. It's not that. It's the brand that matters. Alright? Because how many Coca-Cola's wannabes is in the market today? You can create your own Coca-Cola. That's true. You can create your own Jollibee. You can create your own McDonald's. That's true. You can replicate the chicken, everything about it, the crew, the color, even the logo itself. The thing about it is that you can try to imitate them, but you're really not them, right? There's still this fine distinction between the two, the dichotomy of original and fake, okay? Otherwise, you're just someone who's trying to be something or someone that you are not. And nothing is as bad as it sounds like than being someone that you are not. right? And actually, I think we're going to talk about that in another video, perhaps after this, on can you really be your fake self? And if so, how can we fight that? So in another episode, I think we're going to talk about that. So I'm getting sidetracked. And of course, this is a huge spoiler. It's the brand that matters. Dick and Mike McDonald's didn't saw it. They thought that it was the system that they helped create it. It was the cook time, the temperature, all of the experiments. They thought that that was the secret sauce to their success. But it turns out that it's not. It's the brand that they created it, the community that they built, right? The people that is a patron to their system, to their products, to their food. That's what's most important. And you know, a tragic story of Dick and Mac McDonald is that after they lost over a dispute and eventually Ray Kroc bought them out of the company, what happened was they created another burger joint, right? Another burger joint, but its name is Big Mac, right? Right, Big Mac. And what happened was it didn't become successful. It was a flop. McDonald's, on the other hand, became huge, and it's their name on it, but they're not a part of it anymore because they failed to see the importance of the name McDonald's. It's the brand that matters. It's not the product. It could be, in some occasions, the utilitarian value, but in terms of the hedonic value of that, right? That goes a whole lot deeper, right? It's like the product is the tip of the iceberg, and then the rest of the iceberg is the brand itself. So that is it. I'll wrap up to the 4 episodes contributing and instituting and constituting from the Founder 2016 film. And I guess we're going to try and make another film review / business review in the future. So if you like that, then stick around. Thank you.